Hey guys, tonight we're traveling back in time to a world of frozen fields, smoky cottages, and wool cloaks heavy with frost. This is the Middle Ages, but not the one of shining armor and grand banquets you've seen in movies. No, tonight we step into the real medieval winter, a time when the cold ruled over kings and peasants alike, when every breath turned to mist, and survival meant wrapping yourself in whatever warmth you could find. So, before you settle in, make sure you're warm, maybe grab a blanket, and take a deep breath, because we're about to journey through the chill, to see how people lived, worked, and dressed when the world was locked in ice. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you enjoy these deep dives into history's forgotten corners. And tell me in the comments, where are you watching from, and how cold is it where you are right now? Alright, let's step into the snow. As the first snow begins to fall over the distant hills, the medieval world slows into silence. The year is the 13th century. A pale sun hides behind clouds, and the land lies still beneath a thickening white veil. Villages of timber and thatch stand huddled together, smoke rising from stone chimneys where fires burn against the creeping cold. Inside those humble cottages, men, women, and children prepare for the long winter ahead. The rhythm of life changes now, from the sound of harvest to the sound of crackling wood. The cold air seeps through every gap, so people wrap themselves in layers of wool, linen, and fur. A farmer's tunic, once rough from labor, is now lined with sheepskin. His wife wears a woolen kirtle beneath a thick cloak clasped with a simple wooden pin. In the noble halls, things are grander. Lords and ladies wear garments woven with fine wool and sometimes even velvet, trimmed with fox or ermine fur. Yet even the richest cannot escape the chill. Tapestries hang on the walls not only for beauty but to trap warmth. Candles flicker, the scent of beeswax mixes with smoke, and the night stretches long. Outside, horses stand in stables, their breath rising like mist in the dim torchlight. The blacksmith's forge, once ringing with hammers, lies quiet now, its coals banked low beneath ash to be rekindled at dawn. The world is wrapped in winter's hush, a season of endurance, of patience, of gathering close. Somewhere in the distance, the wind moans across the frozen fields, whispering through the bare trees, carrying stories of hunger, warmth, and hope. And as the snow thickens, the medieval people settle into their quiet routines, spinning wool, mending clothes, stirring stews over open fires, waiting for spring's first thaw. The heart of winter arrives without mercy. Days shrink, and the sun feels like a ghost that only brushes the sky before vanishing again. Snowdrifts grow tall beside cottage doors, and ice creeps across the rivers like white glass. In this silent world, people cling to warmth however they can. In the villages, mornings begin before dawn. Men feed the animals and break the frozen water troughs with wooden mallets. Women tend the fire, blowing softly into the embers, coaxing them back to life. They wrap themselves in cloaks made from thick wool, the hoods drawn deep to guard against the bitter wind. Beneath the outer layers, they wear linen shirts and wool tunics, for in the medieval world, layers meant survival. Wool kept warmth even when damp, and fur was a treasure for those who could afford it. The poor wore sheep or goat skins. The wealthy wore fox, sable, or ermine. Children were swaddled in anything available, sometimes old cloaks stitched together, sometimes straw stuffed inside cloth to trap heat. In castles and fortresses, life was little easier. Stone walls turned icy, and the drafts slipped through cracks in every corner. Nobles gathered near the hearths, sitting on benches draped with fur. Their robes were lined with velvet and trimmed with fur, held together by ornate clasps. The air smelled of wood smoke, wax, and roasted meat. Minstrels played softly to distract from the cold, their breath visible in the air as they sang tales of bravery and love. Servants hurried between rooms carrying embers in iron pans to warm chambers before the lords retired for the night. And yet, despite all the wealth, the chill found everyone. In monasteries, monks wrapped themselves in brown wool habits, simple and rough, yet warm. They prayed in cold chapels where candles flickered weakly against the shadows. In the stillness, you could hear the soft rustle of fabric, linen under wool, wool under fur, the whisper of winter woven into every stitch. Outside, travelers on frozen roads struggled through snow. Merchants wrapped their faces with scarves and layered cloaks, riding horses covered in wool blankets. Soldiers, standing guard on castle walls, wore thick gambesons padded beneath chainmail, their fingers stiff inside leather gloves. Frost formed on their beards, and every breath rose like smoke. Yet duty kept them there, staring out into the white emptiness. The world slept beneath snow, but people endured, not with comfort, but with quiet strength. In the stillness of that long medieval winter, survival was not only a battle against the cold, it was a testament to the will of humankind. And beneath the cold stars, they dreamed of the green fields of spring, though the warmth seemed like a memory lost in time. As the winter deepens, the world outside seems frozen in time, but inside the hearts of the people, a quiet fire burns. It is not only the flames of the hearth that keep them alive. It is warmth born from faith, food, and fellowship. In the smallest of cottages, families gather close. They share bowls of thick broth made from dried beans, salted pork, and whatever roots remain from autumn's harvest. Bread, coarse and dark, is dipped into the steaming pot, and the scent of slow-cooked stew fills the air. In the flickering firelight, the rough wool of their garments glows like gold. The children listen to stories, tales of saints, heroes, and distant lands. As the wind howls against the door, every home becomes a small world of its own, wrapped in layers of laughter, prayer, and patience. In towns and monasteries, community is life itself. Monks distribute food to the poor, offering warm cloaks woven from coarse wool, stitched with care. Candles line the church altars, their flames trembling gently in the cold air. The faithful gather in prayer, their breath mingling in the chill, voices rising in hymns that echo through the stone halls. Hope becomes a form of warmth, a shield against the endless winter. Women spin wool beside the fire, their spindles turning rhythmically, while men carve wooden tools or patch the roof with whatever materials they can find. The sound of everyday labor blends with the sound of prayer. Survival becomes sacred work. Even the nobles, in their grand halls, seek the comfort of companionship. Feasts are held to drive away the gloom. Platters of roasted meat, cheese, and bread fill long wooden tables. Goblets of spiced wine are raised, and musicians play softly. Laughter echoes beneath the high ceilings as frost blooms on the window panes. Cloaks are laid aside, revealing garments embroidered with gold thread, tunics dyed in deep colors, crimson, green, and blue, colors that defy the grayness of winter. The great fireplaces roar, and for a moment warmth feels like victory. Yet outside, the poor huddle in barns and sheds, wrapped in patched cloaks, sleeping beside animals for heat. The cow's breath, the sheep's wool, even the body warmth of a sleeping dog becomes a blessing. The medieval world understood something that modern hearts often forget, that survival in winter was not only about fur and fire, but about togetherness. Every shared meal, every whispered prayer, every hand clasped in comfort was a defense against despair. And as the snow glowed beneath the moonlight, people looked up to the sky and thanked God for another day of warmth, another day of life. At last, the silence begins to soften. The snow no longer falls as fiercely. It drifts gently now, as if tired of its own dominion. Icicles melt one drop at a time, and rivulets of water begin to trickle along the frozen earth. The people of the medieval world stir from their long winter slumber. Doors creak open, smoke thins in the air, and voices return to the villages like birds returning to their nests. The cold is still there, but it no longer feels endless. Beneath the gray sky, a sense of hope awakens, fragile, like the first green shoots breaking through the frost. In the cottages, fires burn lower, and windows are opened for the first time in months to let the fresh air in. The woolen cloaks and fur-lined garments, worn and heavy from use, are hung near the fire to dry. They carry the smell of smoke, sweat, and life, the scent of survival. Mothers shake out blankets, patch holes in tunics, and smile as sunlight catches the threads of linen. Children, wrapped in lighter wool, step outside and laugh as the snow melts beneath their feet. Their red cheeks glow against the cold breeze, but their laughter fills the air like springtime music. In the castle halls, nobles ride again. They trade their thick winter furs for lighter robes of velvet and silk. The walls, once covered in tapestries for warmth, are now bright with banners of color. Servants throw open the great doors to let sunlight spill across the stone floors. The echo of boots and laughter fills the corridors, and the mood lightens. The long months of huddled waiting are finally rewarded with light and life. Knights polish their armor, servants wash the heavy furs, and the great kitchens fill again with the sounds of preparation for spring feasts. Out in the countryside, the fields, once buried under snow, now glisten with thawed water. Farmers look upon their land with renewed hope. They mend their tools, repair fences, and dream of planting once again. Their simple woolen clothes are patched and faded, but they wear them with pride, proof of endurance, of having faced winter and lived. The church bells ring louder now, their clear tones carrying far across the valley. It is the sound of renewal, of gratitude, of faith reborn. As night falls, the air is still cold, but softer, gentler. The stars shimmer above, and people gather again around their fires, not from fear of freezing, but from the comfort of habit. They tell stories of the winter just past, of hardship faced and warmth found. They speak of neighbors who shared food, of cloaks passed from one hand to another, of prayers answered in the silence. The medieval winter, though harsh and unyielding, has become part of them, a lesson carved into their hearts. And as the final embers glow, they understand what every generation learns in its own time, that warmth is not only in the fire, nor in the fur, nor in the cloak, but in the soul that refuses to surrender to the cold. The winter may come again, as it always does, but so will the courage, the faith, and the quiet strength that keeps humanity alive. The snow will fall, the rivers will freeze, but deep inside the human heart, there will always remain that flicker of light, the warmth within that even the longest winter cannot extinguish. And so, as we end tonight's journey through the frozen Middle Ages, remember this: the fire of hope, courage, and togetherness is what kept medieval people alive, just as it keeps us warm today. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment telling me where you're watching from. Sleep well, and may the warmth of your own heart guide you through the cold nights ahead.